If you've seen my content on things like the Remarkable 2, then you know I'm a huge fan of these kind of e-ink tablets. I think they're super productive. I'm also reviewing the Kindle Scribe coming soon for a 1-year review, so I'll post that up here if you haven't seen it. But this is a very focused device for me. Like, I typically have a task that I'm gonna do when I use this. For just simpler things, like if I'm just at the desk or something, I've actually found 2 devices that I really like here. And we have the Amoretti Sonnet Mini here and the Kaite Memo pad here. Now the cool thing about these is that they are really inexpensive. This one is about $12. They're very lightweight. This one's like 50 grams. And they do not need recharging. So there have been definitely times when I go to use my Remarkable and I forgot about the battery and it's just kind of dead. It doesn't happen very often at all, but these will never have that issue. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. I use them kind of like scratch pads on the desk. They're really great for just kind of casually sketching, making quick to-do lists. Here's the Amoretti Sonnet Mini, and here is the pen. This is kind of a more traditional pen style here. Just for reference, here is a Remarkable pen. So it's a decent size actually, it's not that small. Just like the Remarkable pen, it has a little magnet here, so you can stick it on the side when you're not using it. So for both of these devices, it's important to note that you will need obviously some sort of ambient light to reflect off of it. The liquid crystal display on here is pretty visible in the daylight actually. The colors kind of pop a little bit. Something like this, in my opinion, is really ideal for people who just jot a lot of things down. Maybe like a server at a restaurant where you're just writing tickets all day and you don't want to be wasting paper all the time. Right, so you write stuff down and then you're gonna like throw this in your pocket or something and you don't wanna run the risk of pressing this. There is a little switch lock down here. And so then even when I press the button, it's not gonna delete anything. So it gives you a little peace of mind for convenience and safety. Now there's also a pad on the back, so you can double jot things down, and that's essentially why there's 2 buttons. So the right side always clears the screen, the side you're on. So if I were on this side, I would, with my finger here, press this button. Now, one of the cool things is it does kind of have pressure sensitivity, which is something I was really not expecting for something that costs $12. So watch, I can really lightly scribble, and then I can like scribble a lot harder, you see? So that actually makes this kind of a cool like drawing feature where it does allow for a lot of gradation, and it's just kind of neat. So like, you know, if I wanted to emphasize the front face here, I can really kind of dig in there and just kind of doodle, sketch a little bit. The nice thing is there's no nib replacement here. This is just a piece of plastic here. And there is no battery necessary for the majority of the use. It does have a very small button cell battery, which you can see there's a little screw here, but that is actually just for the eraser feature. So I don't really know exactly what the liquid crystal tech is here that they're using with this kind of nib, but I think it's just somewhat pressure sensitive because I can kind of write with my nail. And well, it's much fainter than the pen. You can see stuff does come out there. Not nearly as defined as that, right? Like look. But the eraser, the CR 2016 button cell battery, and it lasts for 50,000 life cycles. So, I mean, that's an absurd amount of presses, right? Like basically I'm not gonna ever be replacing the battery in this. If I do, maybe once. And it's just super practical. So here's my initials. You can see how the pressure sensitivity is kind of cool there. Now, I actually like the eraser feature. It's just nice that, you know, when I want to just boop, done. I don't have to like erase a crap ton of things. It just clears the screen completely. So in some senses, I think that while people may see that as a downside, where it's like, if I'm like writing something and I really mess up that, for example, I'm not gonna be able to like rewrite it, but same as a pen and paper, right? I mean, you just quickly restart. The quick erase feature of the whole screen here can be a benefit in some instances. There is a bigger version available. So just for context, this is an S23 Ultra. So it is about the same size as a modern smartphone. It's 6.5 inches from one diagonal to the other. So roughly, I think this is 6.8 or 6.9. So roughly the same. There is a bigger version available. I think it's like 9.5 inches or something. I'll link it so you can see. All right, so the cool thing here, take a photo on cam scanner, boom, next. And then I can see it in grayscale. So I can kind of modify a little bit. I could probably even invert it and use some app to put it into a PDF. But for this app, all I want to do is use the OCR here to show you. So, boom, it misspelled some things because my handwriting was pretty bad. But then I can just edit it and boogie board, boom, done. Space. Now I have good OCR there, and save. And so now let's take a photo of this. Can adjust it here, adjust it here. So now I have a digital PDF version basically. I have a S23 Ultra, so I could even start drawing on here. And I could start like, boom, start editing right away, which is pretty cool. It's basically like pen and paper, but in a little small form, and yeah, erasable, very quick, very cool. I'm really happy that Amazon recommended this to me because we'll definitely keep it in my workflow. And for $12, it's an absolute steal, I'd say. Now on to the next device, the Kaite Memo pad. This is one that when I saw it on Goody Reader, I was like super excited and got it pretty soon after. But this one, you know, for lists, this one is better for if you need to like edit things quickly on the fly, right? Because then I can just quickly erase that and I can just be like, oh, no, actually I don't need coffee. I'm gonna get some tea. I am going to drop off a package at, oh, I wrote AF, so I can quickly erase that, at UP, oh, made a mistake. The one thing about this is that it does fade after a while, which I actually kind of like when I'm just sketching around, because then I can like re-emphasize things like that, you know? But you'll see this text has already started to fade a little bit, right? Oh yeah, there's also a big eraser here. So I can erase in bulk. And you'll see with the erasing here, how it kind of looks dark at first. I was initially a little concerned when I got it, but it fades after a few seconds. And the big eraser here, you can also pop off. So you can kind of use like a little like whiteboard eraser almost, like that. And then it just slides back in. And then there is the back eraser here too. I also just learned recently, I saw when I was looking at some promotional content, on the back here, there's a little slot here. So you can kind of slit the pen in here and it'll stay in that little groove there. So when I leave it at my desk, I'll probably just leave it like that now. And yeah, this one is really wide, so it's better for horizontal writing if you want, but allows for just very long to-do lists and whatnot, and just kind of jotting down stuff. So let's try that again. But you'll see the precision isn't as fine because it's based off of the metal nib here. They do make pens that have like one that's like 0.8, 0.9, and the other side's like 1.1, 1.2-ish, around there or something. So you could get more precise with that, but you're limited in the precision here. The Sonnet is just going to have much better precision here. Like I'll show you, for example, like, yeah, it's both very visible, but like the precision here is just nicer. Watch if I write very small. If I wrote that small in here, you wouldn't even see it, right? Like that's almost illegible. So let's erase that. Just put a few items here. Okay, let's try that again. Let's check that out. In grayscale, if we adjust it a little bit and then do OCR. So shopping list, apples, 2 cheesy, 3 juice. It's really not going to do a good job here. It's just, I think it's just not detailed enough to get like the fine little like imperfections in there. Like that E looks like a C kind of, but obviously contextually when you're reading it, you can tell it's cheese and not cheese C. So this is, I'd say, maybe less of a tool and more of just a nice little jot pad that I use at my desk.